The massive alien ships appeared without warning. They emerged from the darkness beyond Neptune's orbit, their metal hulls gleaming under the distant sunlight. 12 capital ships, each larger than Earth's biggest cities, moved in perfect formation toward the inner solar system. At Earth Defense Force headquarters beneath the Rocky Mountains, Commander James Reed stared at the main display screen with growing concern. The emergency meeting had pulled him from his bed at 3 a.m., but any trace of sleepiness vanished when he saw the readings. "How many life signs?" he asked, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. "Over 2 million on each capital ship, sir," answered Lieutenant Amy Black from her station. "And they're not responding to any of our greeting broadcasts." Reed nodded slowly. Humanity had prepared for this moment for decades, but the reality of first contact still sent chills down his spine. "Keep broadcasting on all frequencies. Let's show them we're civilized." The alien fleet took up position just beyond Mars' orbit. For 3 days, they sat silent and watching. Earth's public descended into a mix of panic and excitement, but the military remained calm and ready. On the 4th day, they finally answered. The message came through every communication device on Earth simultaneously. The aliens called themselves the Collective, a union of advanced species that had conquered half the galaxy. Their message was simple and cruel. "Primitive humans, your world has been chosen for incorporation into the Collective. Your nuclear weapons and internal conflicts mark you as an unstable species requiring guidance. Surrender your world within 1 planetary rotation, or face immediate destruction. Resistance is pointless." In the command center, Reed exchanged glances with Admiral Wilson, who had arrived from Washington the day before. They had expected something like this. Every simulation, every analysis had suggested that any hostile alien force would underestimate humanity based on their visible technology and political divisions. "They're scanning us again," Lieutenant Black reported. "But our dampening fields are holding. They can only see what we want them to see." "Good," Reed said. "Let them think our most advanced weapon is a nuclear missile. Let them think our satellites are primitive. Let them think we're divided and weak." Admiral Wilson stepped forward, her aged face set in grim determination. "Commander Reed, initiate Protocol 7. Let's show them our official response." Reed nodded and pressed his palm against the DNA scanner. Around the world, other military leaders did the same. To the aliens watching from orbit, it would appear that Earth's nations were scrambling in disarray, their militaries moving in panicked, uncoordinated patterns. The reality was very different. Deep beneath the oceans, hidden bases powered up their quantum shields. In underground bunkers across every continent, advanced weapon systems warmed their gravity cores. Orbital platforms disguised as communication satellites silently rotated their hidden weapons toward the alien fleet. And in bases like this one, humanity's best soldiers prepared for a fight they had trained for since childhood. "Sir," Lieutenant Black called out, "they're launching something from their lead ship. Small object, heading toward Luna Base." Reed watched the trajectory and felt his blood run cold. The Collective hadn't even waited for their deadline. The small object, likely a weapon, was heading straight for humanity's most visible outpost, the research station on the moon. "Shall we shoot it down, sir?" Black asked, her finger hovering over the defense controls. Reed shared another look with Admiral Wilson, who gave a subtle shake of her head. They had planned for this too. Sometimes, to win a war, you had to lose the first battle. "No, Lieutenant, let it hit." "But sir, there are 300 people up there." Reed's face hardened. "And their sacrifice will ensure we win this war. The Collective needs to believe they've struck a devastating blow. They need to think we're helpless." He turned to face the main screen, watching as the alien weapon approached the moon. "Let them think they're the predators. Soon enough, they'll learn what happens when you provoke humanity's fury." The weapon struck Luna Base at 7:47 Earth Standard Time. The explosion was visible from Earth as a bright flash on the moon's surface. And in orbit, the Collective fleet moved closer, believing they had just demonstrated their superiority. They had no idea they had just sealed their fate. The moon glowed red where Luna Base had stood. 300 lives snuffed out in an instant, scientists, engineers, and their families. On Earth, millions watched the aftermath through telescopes and live feeds, their hearts heavy with loss and growing anger. In the command center, Commander Reed watched the collective fleet split into smaller groups. Just as expected, they were preparing to attack multiple targets. The aliens believed their show of force had broken humanity's spirit. "Status report," he ordered, his voice tight with controlled emotion. Lieutenant Black's fingers moved quickly across her control panel. The collective ships are positioning themselves above major cities: New York, London, Tokyo, Moscow. "They're broadcasting again, sir." The alien message boomed through the speakers. "Your moon base's destruction demonstrates our power. Submit now, and no more humans need die. Continue to resist, and we will target your population centers." Admiral Wilson entered the command center, her uniform crisp despite having worked for 20 hours straight. "Time to begin Phase 2, Commander." Reed nodded and pressed the global command button. "All stations, initiate scatter protocol." "I repeat, initiate scatter protocol." Across Earth, military bases appeared to empty. Tanks rolled out in disorganized columns. Aircraft took off in seemingly random directions. Ships left their ports without apparent coordination. To the watching aliens, it looked like panic. Exactly as planned. "The collective is taking the bait," Lieutenant Black reported. "Their ships are spreading out to chase our forces. Long-range scans show they're dropping their defensive formations." Reed allowed himself a small smile. The aliens' arrogance was their weakness. They thought they were hunting scared prey, but they were walking into a trap generations in the making. Deep underwater, the Pacific Defense Hub powered up its systems. Similar facilities in the Atlantic, Indian, and Arctic Oceans did the same. These bases, hidden from alien sensors by advanced cloaking technology, housed humanity's real military might. "Sir," Black's voice rose with urgency. "The collective is launching their next attack wave. Multiple projectiles heading toward major military installations." Reed checked the tactical display. "Right on schedule. Activate Protocol Dark Shield." Around the world, seemingly ordinary military bases shimmered as quantum shields snapped into place. The collective's weapons struck the shields and dissipated harmlessly. In orbit, the alien ship's sensors registered direct hits and massive destruction. But on the ground, not a single human facility was damaged. "They're falling for it," Admiral Wilson said, watching the alien fleet's movements. "They think they've destroyed our main military capability. Time for the next phase." Reed turned to the communications officer. "Send the distress signals. Make them believe we're broken." Fake emergency broadcasts filled the airwaves. Panicked voices begged for help. Reports of massive casualties and destruction spread across all frequencies. The collective intercepted every transmission, their confidence growing with each desperate message. In reality, Earth's forces were moving into attack positions. Underground bases across the planet activated their launch systems. Soldiers in powered armor suits much more advanced than anything the aliens had detected moved into position. Orbital platforms disguised as debris quietly charged their weapon systems. "Collective ships are beginning their descent," Black reported. "They're moving to start ground operations. They think they've won." Reed watched the tactical display as alien ships entered the atmosphere. The massive vessels moved with arrogant confidence, believing they faced no real resistance. They had no idea they were flying into carefully planned killing zones. "All units report ready," Admiral Wilson said, reviewing the status updates. "We can begin the counterattack on your order." Reed thought of the 300 souls lost on Luna Base. Their sacrifice had made this moment possible. Because of them, the collective had fallen for humanity's deception completely. "Not yet," Reed said, his eyes fixed on the descending alien ships. "Let them get closer. Let them think victory is certain." He paused, watching more ships enter the atmosphere. Let them learn what happens when you mistake humanity's patience for weakness. Around the world, Earth's hidden forces waited in perfect discipline. The real battle was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy that they were not prey. They were the ultimate predators. The collective's ground forces landed outside major cities across Earth. Their massive transport ships opened, releasing waves of alien troops in gleaming armor. They expected to find broken, terrified humans. Instead, they found empty streets and silence. Commander Reed watched the tactical display as thousands of alien soldiers spread out across New York, London, Tokyo, and dozens of other cities. Everything was going according to plan. All civilian bunkers report secure, Lieutenant Black announced. Population centers are completely evacuated. The aliens are finding ghost towns. Good, Reed nodded. Let them get confused. Let them start wondering where everyone went. In orbit, the collective's fleet had split into small groups to cover more ground, exactly as Earth's military had hoped. Their massive ships now floated isolated and vulnerable, their commanders too confident to maintain defensive formations. Admiral Wilson entered the command center with a group of senior officers. The last piece is in place. All underground bases report ready. Reed checked the time. They had waited long enough. Send the signal. Operation Darkwater begins now. Deep beneath the oceans, massive doors opened in the seafloor. From the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Oceans, humanity's true military force emerged. Sleek warships, far more advanced than anything the collective had seen, rose from the depths. Their quantum engines hummed silently as they moved into attack position. Enemy forces have spotted our Pacific fleet, Black reported. They're laughing, sir. Their communications indicate they think these are primitive submarines. Reed allowed himself a small smile. Let's show them how primitive we are. Admiral Wilson, you may begin. The Admiral pressed her command key. Across Earth's oceans, human warships activated their gravity manipulation fields. The alien vessels suddenly found themselves being pulled down by forces they couldn't understand. Multiple collective ships are losing altitude. Black reported, excitement in her voice. Their anti-gravity systems are failing against our gravity weapons. On the tactical display, red dots representing alien ships began dropping from the sky. The collective's commanders broadcast panicked messages as their vessels were dragged down toward the oceans. Now for Phase 2, Reed ordered. Launch the fighters. Hidden hangar doors opened in mountains and deserts across Earth. Squadrons of advanced fighter craft shot into the sky. Unlike the simple jets the aliens had detected earlier, these were Earth's real combat vehicles. Powered by zero-point energy and protected by quantum shields, they streaked toward the struggling alien ships. The collective is trying to regroup, Black announced. They're calling for reinforcements from their outer system fleet. Perfect. Reed turned to Admiral Wilson. Show them our orbital surprise. The Admiral nodded and sent the command. Around Earth, what the aliens had dismissed as simple communication satellites transformed. Hidden weapons platforms came online, their targeting systems locking onto the approaching collective reinforcements. The alien commanders barely had time to register the threat before Earth's orbital defense grid opened fire. Beams of concentrated energy sliced through their ship shields like they weren't even there. Enemy fleet is in chaos, Black reported. They're trying to surrender, sir. No, Reed said firmly. Not yet. They need to learn the full cost of their arrogance. He turned to the tactical display. Launch ground forces. Show them what human soldiers can really do. Across Earth, hidden bunkers opened. Soldiers in powered armor suits that made the aliens' equipment look primitive emerge. Their suits enhanced their already superior human strength and speed, making them unstoppable against the invading ground forces. The collective troops, who had been casually looting empty cities, suddenly found themselves facing an enemy far more dangerous than they had imagined. The screams of alien soldiers filled their communication channels as humanity's real military might was finally unleashed. "Sir," Black called out, "we're intercepting their distress calls. They're begging their high command for immediate evacuation. They're saying—" She paused, a hint of satisfaction in her voice. "They're saying we're not what they thought we were. They're calling us the Hidden Hunters." Reed watched as more alien ships fell from the sky, as human forces drove back the invaders on every front. "They're right, Lieutenant. We're not what they thought we were." He looked at the tactical display, where humanity's true power was finally revealed. "We're so much worse. The real war was just beginning, and humanity was done pretending to be prey." The sky above Earth burned. Dozens of collective ships, once proud symbols of alien power, now fell like burning meteors into the oceans. Human fighters darted between the larger vessels, their advanced weapons tearing through alien shields as if they were paper. In the command center, Commander Reed watched the largest alien ship, the Collective's flagship, trying to coordinate their failing defense. Its commander was broadcasting continuous orders, growing more desperate by the minute. "Play their latest transmission," Reed ordered. Lieutenant Black activated the communication channel. A panicked alien voice filled the room. "This is impossible. Their technology was primitive. Their weapons were basic. How are they doing this?" Admiral Wilson smiled grimly. "Send them our message now, Commander. It's time they understood who they're really fighting." Reed nodded and stepped up to the communication panel. His voice was calm, but carried the weight of humanity's controlled fury. "This is Commander Reed of the Earth Defense Force. You came to our world believing we were primitive. You killed 300 of our people to prove your superiority. Now, let us show you what humanity is truly capable of." He turned to Lieutenant Black. "Activate all remaining orbital platforms." Around Earth, hundreds more satellites shed their disguises. What the Collective had dismissed as space junk transformed into deadly weapon platforms. The aliens had thought Earth had only a few dozen satellites. They now faced hundreds of advanced weapon systems. "All platforms online," Black reported. "Ready to fire on your command." Reed studied the tactical display. The Collective fleet was trying to form a defensive sphere around their flagship. Target their formation. Show them what human technology can really do. The orbital platforms fired in perfect synchronization. Beams of concentrated quantum energy struck the alien ships from all directions. Their shields, designed to stop conventional weapons, offered no protection against Earth's advanced technology. "Enemy fleet is breaking apart," Black announced. "Their flagship is trying to retreat." "Not this time," Reed said. He turned to Admiral Wilson. "Launch the Thunderbolt squadrons." From hidden bases in the Himalayas and Andes Mountains, Earth's elite fighter squadrons took off. Their ships, powered by zero-point energy and piloted by the best humans had to offer, streaked toward the alien flagship. The massive alien vessel tried to escape, but Earth's gravity weapons held it in place. The human fighters swarmed around it like angry wasps, their weapons precisely targeting its engines and weapon systems. "Sir," Black called out, "we're detecting massive energy buildups in the remaining enemy ships. They're trying to self-destruct." Reed's eyes narrowed. They would rather die than admit defeat. "Activate the containment fields." Invisible energy fields surrounded each alien vessel, containing their attempted self-destruction. The Collective commanders watched in horror as even their final auction was denied to them. "Incoming transmission from their flagship," Black reported. The alien commander's voice shook with fear. "What are you? How did you hide all this from us?" Reed's response was cold. "We are humanity. We watched your kind ravage other worlds. We prepared. We waited. We let you think we were weak because we knew your arrogance would be your downfall." The command center fell silent as the alien commander processed this. Finally, a different voice came through, higher ranked, more authoritative. We request terms for surrender." Admiral Wilson stepped forward. "No terms. Unconditional surrender only. You will order all collective forces to stand down immediately. On the tactical display, the remaining alien ships powered down their weapons. The mighty collective, who had conquered countless worlds, had just met their first defeat. Signal coming from Earth's major cities. Black reported. Our ground forces have captured or eliminated all enemy troops. No civilian casualties reported. Reed nodded with satisfaction. The plan had worked perfectly. Humanity had revealed only a fraction of their true capabilities, and it had been more than enough to break the alien invasion. Send word to all commands, he ordered. Phase 1 is complete. Prepare for Phase 2. Admiral Wilson raised an eyebrow. You think they'll try to retaliate? Reed watched the disabled alien ships on the display. They will. And when they do, we'll be ready to take the fight to their worlds. His eyes hardened. They wanted to make humanity their prey. Instead, they've awakened a force they can't possibly understand. The battle for Earth was over. The war for the galaxy was about to begin. 3 days after Earth's victory, Commander Reed stood on the bridge of the EDF Retribution, humanity's flagship that had remained hidden beneath the Atlantic Ocean until now. The massive vessel dwarfed even the largest collective ships, its quantum drives humming with power as it led Earth's fleet toward the heart of alien space. Status report, Reed called out, watching the stars streak by through the main viewport. Lieutenant Black, who had transferred to the ship along with the core command team, checked her displays. Our fleet is maintaining formation. All 500 ships report ready for combat. The captured collective databases have given us their empire's exact coordinates. Admiral Wilson entered the bridge, her uniform now bearing the new insignia of the combined Earth fleet. The collective's homeworlds are mobilizing for war. They still think they can beat us with numbers. Reed nodded grimly. They haven't learned their lesson yet. Time to show them what happens when humanity really goes to war. The fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel near a major collective military base. 30 alien warships rose to meet them, their weapons charged. They were the elite of the collective's forces, sent to crush the upstart humans. They're broadcasting, sir, Black reported. They're saying we got lucky on Earth, that we can't possibly stand against their full might. Show them our response, Reed ordered. The EDF Retribution's main weapon powered up. Unlike the defensive weapons used to protect Earth, this was humanity's true combat capability. The quantum beam lanced out, cutting through multiple collective ships in a single shot. Enemy fleet is in chaos, Black announced. They didn't even know weapons like this could exist. But the real surprise came when human troops boarded the surviving alien vessels. The collective warriors, who had always relied on their advanced technology, found themselves facing something they had never expected: humans in direct combat. Major Tom Stone, leading the boarding party, activated his suit's camera feed to the bridge. The aliens watched in horror as human soldiers demonstrated their natural advantages. Even without their powered armor, humans were stronger, faster, and more durable than any collective species. Sir, Black called out, we're intercepting their communications. They're calling us. They're calling us Deathworlders. Apparently, our planet's higher gravity and harsh conditions have made us physically superior to their species. Reed allowed himself a small smile. Send in the rest of the boarding teams. Let them see what they're really dealing with. Across the battlefield, human soldiers breached alien ships. The collective warriors, used to fighting weaker species, broke ranks and fled from the naturally stronger humans. Their advanced weapons proved useless against Earth's quantum shields, while their own armor offered little protection against human weapons. The base is surrendering, Black reported. They're begging for mercy. Admiral Wilson stepped forward. Now they learn another truth about humanity. Commander. Reed nodded and opened a channel to the alien base. This is Commander Reed. Your forces are defeated. Surrender, and you will be treated fairly. Resist, and you will be shown the same mercy you showed our moon base. The base commander's response was immediate and desperate. We surrender. Please, we didn't know. We thought your kind were savages. We didn't understand. No, you didn't, Reed replied. Humanity had achieved peace among ourselves, not because we were weak, but because we were strong enough to choose it. Now you forced us to show you our other side. As human forces secured the base, they discovered something unexpected. Holding cells filled with members of other alien species, all conquered by the collective. They looked at their human liberators with a mixture of fear and hope. Sir, Black said softly, these species, according to the base records, they're all from worlds the collective invaded, just like they tried to do to Earth. Reed's expression hardened. Send word to Earth. Tell them to prepare the liberation fleets. We're not just going to defeat the collective. We're going to free every world they've enslaved. The true scale of humanity's war was only beginning to unfold. They had entered the galactic stage not just as warriors, but as liberators. The collective had wanted to make humanity kneel. Instead, they had given humanity a reason to rise. The collective's capital world hung like a jewel in space, its 3 moons reflecting light from its red sun. Once, this planet had represented the height of alien power. Now, it watched helplessly as Earth's liberation fleet filled its skies. Commander Reeves stood on the bridge of the EDF Retribution, watching the collective's last defensive line crumble before human forces. In just 2 months, humanity had freed 37 enslaved worlds and destroyed the alien empire's military might. Status of the enemy fleet? He asked, though the answer was clear on the tactical display. Lieutenant Black checked her readings. Their remaining ships are surrendering, sir. The collective's home defense fleet is. It's completely broken. She paused, then added, we're receiving transmissions from thousands of ships. But they're not collective vessels. Admiral Wilson moved to check the sensor data. The slave races, she said, they're rising up against their masters. On the main screen, ships of various designs and sizes appeared from behind the planet's moons. Vessels belonging to species the collective had conquered over centuries now turned their weapons against their former masters. Open a channel to all ships, Reed ordered. His voice carried across space to every vessel in the system. This is Commander Reed of Earth. To all freed peoples, the collective's reign ends today. Join us and help us build a better galaxy. The responses flooded in. Species after species pledged their support to Earth's forces. The very empire the collective had built through conquest and cruelty now became its undoing. Sir, Black called out urgently, massive energy reading from the capital city. The collective leadership, they're activating some kind of doomsday device. Reed's eyes narrowed. They would destroy their own world rather than surrender. Show them that humanity is better than they are. Major Stone, you have your orders. On the planet's surface, human special forces teams, led by Major Stone, were already moving through the capital city. They had infiltrated hours earlier, using technology that made Earth's stealth capabilities look primitive by comparison. Device located, Stone's voice crackled over the comm. These aliens really don't understand humans, sir. They thought size meant strength. Their elite guards didn't stand a chance in close combat. The team disabled the doomsday device with minutes to spare. In the grand hall of the collective leadership, the alien rulers found themselves surrounded by human soldiers and representatives of the species they had once enslaved. Broadcasting from the capital, Black announced, putting it on main screen. The image showed the collective's high command, tall, spindly beings who had thought their technology made them superior. They knelt before Major Stone's team, their once proud demeanor broken. Humanity, their leader spoke, voice trembling. We surrender completely. Our empire is yours. Reed's response was firm, but measured. No, the empire is finished. But Earth doesn't want slaves or subjects. We're creating something new, a galactic defense alliance. Every species will have a voice. Every world will be free. Admiral Wilson stepped forward. and Earth will ensure no one ever builds an empire through fear again. The news spread across the galaxy. On 37 freed worlds, beings of all shapes and sizes celebrated their liberation. The collective, who had brought so much suffering, had finally faced a species they couldn't dominate. "Sir," Black reported, reading the incoming data, "the freed worlds. They're all requesting Earth's protection. They want us to help them rebuild." Reed nodded. Humanity's greatest strength was never our weapons or our physical power. It was our ability to unite, to rise above our differences. He looked at the image of the surrendered collective leaders. "Send word to Earth. Tell them to prepare diplomatic teams. We have a galaxy to rebuild." As the sun set on the collective's capital world, ships from a dozen freed species took up protective positions alongside Earth's fleet. The aliens who had once feared humanity now looked to them for leadership and protection. The collective had believed humans were primitive because they chose peace. Instead, they had discovered that humanity's greatest weapon was not their technology or strength, but their capacity for both justice and mercy. The age of the collective was over. The era of human-led peace was about to begin. 1 year after the collective's surrender, the Great Hall of the new Galactic Defense Alliance headquarters buzzed with activity. Built on Earth's moon at the site of the destroyed Luna base, it stood as a symbol of how humanity had turned tragedy into triumph. Commander Reed, now Admiral Reed, stood at the grand window overlooking Earth. Representatives from over 50 alien species filled the chamber behind him, their quiet conversations in dozens of languages creating a gentle hum. "The final delegation has arrived," Lieutenant Black, now Captain Black, reported. She had refused promotion to any position that would take her away from her commanding officer's side. "The reformed collective worlds are here." Reed nodded. The former rulers of the galaxy now entered the chamber as equals, not conquerors. Their once proud forms were humbled, but there was also relief in their stance. Many of them had discovered that peace was preferable to constant war. Admiral Wilson, serving as Earth's chief representative, called the assembly to order. "The First Galactic Council of Free Worlds is now in session," she announced. "Let the record show that one standard Earth year after liberation, representatives from all known spacefaring species are present." Reed stepped up to the podium. The chamber fell silent as he began to speak. 1 year ago, the collective thought they found an easy target. They saw our unity as weakness, our restraint as primitiveness, our peace as proof that we were prey. He paused, looking at each delegation. They were wrong. Murmurs of agreement filled the hall. Many of the representatives had fought alongside humans in the liberation campaign. "But today, we gather not to remember war, but to ensure peace," Reed continued. "Earth does not seek to replace one empire with another. Instead, we offer something new, the alliance of equals, protected by humanity's strength, but governed by collective wisdom." The main screens activated, showing the construction of defense platforms around formerly enslaved worlds. Human technology, once hidden, now protected the freed planets. Earth's ships patrolled trade routes, ensuring no species would ever again fall prey to conquerors. The Galactic Defense Alliance has 3 founding principles. Admiral Wilson stepped forward. First, the strong must protect the weak. Second, all species have the right to develop without interference. And third, never again will any civilization be allowed to build an empire through force. A representative from one of the formerly enslaved races stood up. Their species had been among the first the collective had conquered. "And who ensures humanity won't become what the collective was?" they asked. Reed smiled. "Look around this room. Earth's military strength is no longer hidden, but neither is our true power, our ability to unite different peoples. Every world in this alliance has a voice. Every species has a vote, including humanity." Captain Black activated the final display, showing the new Galactic Defense Fleet. Ships of every design and size, crewed by members of all species, but built with humanity's advanced technology. The fleet accepts members from all worlds, she announced. "We are stronger together." The former collective leaders watched in quiet amazement. They had spent centuries believing that power came from domination. Now they saw real strength, the power of willing cooperation. "Let this day be remembered," Reed declared, "not as the day humanity proved its power, but as the day the galaxy chose unity over conquest, cooperation over domination, and peace over fear." The chamber erupted in cheers and equivalent expressions of approval from various species. The new galactic order was born not from fear of humanity's strength, but from respect for their wisdom. As the celebrations began, Reed returned to the window. The Luna Base Memorial glinted in the sunlight, 300 names etched in eternal memory. Their sacrifice had led to this moment. A galaxy united, protected, and free. Captain Black joined him at the window. "They thought we were prey," she said quietly. Reed nodded. "Instead, they found we were protectors. And that's a far more powerful thing to be." Below them, Earth shone like a jewel in space. Humanity had revealed itself not just as the apex predator of the galaxy, but as something far more important, its guardians. The stars stretched out before them, no longer a frontier to be conquered, but a community to be protected. The age of predator and prey was over. The era of human-led peace had begun.